Number one since 1998 on television, ESPN Radio, and the World Wide Web, this is the Pro Wrestling Report with your hosts, the man they call Meathead, Frank Cosentino, and Damian Nelson. Professional wrestling news, opinion, and information from fans for fans.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report for Friday, July 24th, 2009. Damian Nelson.
What a great day this is, Damian.
Happy birthday to you.
Woo! No, it's Dale Watt's birthday, I think.
Who's that?
I don't know. It's my birthday.
The man they call Meathead. And
40?
Wow.
Yep, that's the kind of show it's going to be, guys. David Hero here alongside us as well. Frank Cosentino, the Cos, in Pittsburgh, PA. He's at Three Rivers Stadium.
Did you know that they were planning on moving the Pirates out of town?
I watched a very interesting HBO special the other day about the
Damian
Dodgers.
still doesn't listen to me.
No,
No, I asked the question, and
it was
you
about
just...
baseball. The Pirates.
Did you hear that
So
they're
it
actually
reminded
thinking
me about my thing I saw with the Dodgers.
Why would they do that?
No, do you know where they're moving it to?
No.
Butte, Montana.
Oh, stop. All that for that. Again, thank you for tuning in to the Pro Wrestling
Dave,
Report.
Bud Pirates.
I got
Time.
it, yeah.
And our top story this week is the controversy in TNA Wrestling.
Uh-oh.
Big
Fans,
news.
this is huge if it is true. And again, we are not able to confirm whether or not these rumors are true,
It's
but
true.
it is running wild all over the internet wrestling community, and that is the rumored situation going on between Karen Angle, Kurt Angle, and Jeff Jarrett. Here's what we know right now. It all started with a phone call to the Bubba the Love Sponge show a couple of weeks ago by someone who identified themselves as a TNA employee. They said that there was a romantic situation between Jeff Jarrett and Karen Angle. Karen Angle, the ex-wife of Kurt Angle. They said that that was happening, and that is indeed why there were some problems in TNA. What we know right now is that Jeff Jarrett is gone from TNA, at least temporarily, to address some personal problems.
Part owner of the company's gone. That's big.
It is very big, and some are reporting that as a result of this, Kurt Angle has asked to get more involved in the creative roles of TNA, the creative team currently including Vince Russo, Dutch Martel, Jeremy Borash,
But are we talking
and
about the creative
Matt
team
Conway.
overall, or just Kurt Angle's creative?
It's a little bit of both.
Well,
isn't
it's
it?
overall. I mean, Kurt Angle's contract is up in the fall,
Hmm.
October or November. So if he wants to have a little bit of leverage, he'll have it right now because... it's
So he's
either-
going to make himself strong until the contract's up?
Well, I mean, hey, if Dixie wants to keep Kurt Angle, they got to keep Kurt Angle happy. Otherwise, Kurt Angle is going to take his ball and go home.
Obviously, this is a huge deal, if it is true. And again, we don't know if it's true or not, but we do know it is being reported out there rampantly, and we do know that this call happened into the Bubba the Love Sponge show,
You know,
which is what started all this out. Now,
if it deals with Kurt Angle, it's true.
It's true. It's true.
nice, it's damn true. Where is Jeff Jarrett gone? What other personal problems could he be dealing with? We know that he lost his wife several years ago. Things are, as far as we know, fine with the children. What else, if not this?
He went to
could he be
Smoky
dealing
Mountain.
You know what? My theory is if it is true what's going on, they sent Jeff home to keep him away from Kurt.
Absolutely.
Even though Kurt and Karen are divorced,
But
Rumor.
can we build this to Bound for Glory a la Benoit Sullivan?
no.
Well,
No?
I don't think so.
Why not?
Because they had Bound for Glory.
they did last year. But here's the thing, and to that point, we had both Kurt Angle and Jeff Jarrett on this very program. And, David, we were talking about it earlier. The heat was legit between those two.
There is heat there.
For whatever reason, and some say this dates back to the fall of last year. Again, we don't know if that's true or not, but that's what the reports are that are out there. Sort of makes a little bit of sense given what we saw, given what we heard, especially off camera from both those men.
You know, it's the wrestling business. Anything happens. Usually does happen. But, wow.
How many people were Miss Elizabeth with? She went from Macho Man to Savage. No, not Savage, to Lex Luger, right?
Lex Luger. And then
Then he killed,
wow, that's
Ah.
she died.
She fell down the stairs.
She
Yeah.
fell down the stairs.
That's what happened. Yeah, the report was she fell down the stairs. Tripped or pushed, it's, one of the...
She fell, that's
Yeah,
all
she
that
fell
matters.
down.
Well, it sounds like I'm going to get you, sucker. You got two ways. Either the easy way or the hard way.
I just hope for the good of TNA that if it is true they can get this figured out, because otherwise this company is going to implode.
Implode's a good word.
You know,
Yeah, you got your two biggest heads.
You have the biggest star in the company in Kurt Angle,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess Jeff Jarrett is the other biggest star because he's the owner.
Yeah.
You know, and eventually what's going to happen is the locker room is going to divide.
Eventually, it already has.
Well, put it this way.
It's a difficult spot to be in, I would imagine, if you're in the TNA locker room and if this is true.
Well, everyone's been hush-hush because as far as I know, nothing's been leaking out about it.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens over the next couple of weeks.
Who made the phone call? Some are saying this phone call was all staged by the Bubba the Love Sponge show. I don't see why they would, but that's what some are saying. Otherwise, who made the phone call? Could be a lot of disgruntled TNA people out there who may have been in the know if this is true because they've released a lot of people over the last few weeks, most recently Rudy Charles.
I don't think it was him.
Sanjay Dutt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's a lot of people that are very miserable in TNA, but they're happy.
Primetime Elliot Skipper.
It could be. You know what? It could.
I don't think it is. I
could
just
have been
wanted
a
to throw
friend
that
of a
in.
friend of a friend that heard this, and the friend called in for him. You
Yeah.
never know. But put it this way, like they say, if there's smoke, there's fire. Bubba's not the kind of guy that would throw something out there like this that isn't true.
Right, he doesn't whip
knows
noodles.
something that's going on.
He doesn't whip noodles
But
up
here's the
against
thing.
the wall to make see if it sticks.
What's the point of it all? If we've been privy to similar information in the past that just has not been reported on and it never got leaked out either because some of this stuff, what's the benefit? Who gains anything?
But this is hot.
But who gains from it?
No one's going to gain except for the viewer, the fan, because there's drama, there's tension.
Oh, they won't know. They'll never
Well,
know. Though.
here's the thing, though. If it was,
What do you mean they don't know? We just did the Pro Wrestling Report here, and
Yeah,
we're
this
talking
is for
about it.
the hardest of hardcore fans in general that watch
Mhm.
professional wrestling. Mainstream won't.
here's
be
my
able to.
theory. Let's say it was, I'm just going to throw some names out there. Let's say it was between Consequences Creed and, one of the Machine Guns. It's not going to get that much news. If one of them, was
Oh,
with the other one's
yeah.
ex-wife.
It doesn't get any higher
No,
than this.
But, it's Kurt Angle.
Sure.
He is the #1 star in the company.
When we
whose
were talking on the
ex-wife
radio
is
show.
now with the boss.
Yeah, we were talking about that on the radio show. Who is the face of TNA? And it's Kurt Angle.
It is Kurt Angle.
I think it's Kurt or Mick.
Mick Foley's not the face of TNA. He may be one of your most popular faces, but he's not the face of TNA.
When you think of TNA wrestling, you think of Mick Foley first?
No.
Who do you think of first?
Yeah.
It's true. Kurt Angle.
Well, this one, obviously a developing story and situation. Follow all the late-breaking news about it at PWRshow.com and obviously on this very program as we will give you the facts as we know them. And that's what we have just done is give you the facts about it. But the question, what I want to leave this story with is this the type of situation, is this the type of controversy that could ruin the company?
Absolutely.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Kurt Angle leaves, which he might.
But how big a blow is that?
No, but we talked about that on the radio show, which is still available on iTunes as well. And we said that Kurt Angle's going to end up in WWE at some point before he's done.
There's rumored interest in WWE return. I think Kurt Angle plays the game just as well as Hulk Hogan does, though.
Mhm.
But
Okay, you pull Kurt Angle out of the mix of TNA.
mhm.
Who takes his spot?
AJ,
Who takes his spot?
Leading the main event mafia.
Who's
I
Eric
think
Young.
they can go forward without
Eric
Kurt
Young.
Angle. I truly think that at this point, Kurt Angle has done what he needs to do. Now, do I want to
That's
see
a
him
huge
out of
void.
TNA?
That's a huge void. That's like
For the
Triple
mainstream
H leaving
fan you're
Raw.
talking about?
Yeah, for mainstream fan. Yeah, that's buy rates right there. People are buying pay-per-views to see Kurt Angle. And to see the main
They
event
certainly
mafia.
are. They certainly are. But I'm not sure if it would be the catastrophic thing if he were to leave
Mm.
TNA, as we're saying.
Okay.
I could be very wrong, but I think they can backfill with what made them what they are, which is some of the stars, maybe the conspiracy victims of Motor City Machine Guns.
Okay, but before they got Kurt Angle, they couldn't get anyone else to come there. Kurt Angle comes, then you got, Mick
Chris
Jim is
Foley.
the Hogan.
Yeah.
Yeah, great point.
Matter of fact, wasn't that predicted by...
Carlo?
no, it was predicted by me that Kurt Angle was coming. I think I remember that. Was it on me that said Kurt Angle was going to be in
You
the
merely speculated.
Oh,
We'll have
no,
to
no.
find the tape.
The archives don't lie.
I control the interns.
There you go.
You don't control Cal.
Will it destroy the company if it's true?
Absolutely. It could. Don't know if it will.
Well, have we
they
seen
will
a-
have the biggest angle?
Like
no
I
pun
said, can you
intended.
go
But how
Ben-
can you? And some people have likened this to the Edge, Lita,
Matt
Matt
Hardy.
Hardy situation, and that was real and became an angle. And I think it got Matt Hardy the most heat he's ever had, to be honest with you.
And it made Edge a superstar.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Can we go Benoit Sullivan?
No.
No, you don't
That was
think-
ugly. For those of you that don't remember, that was very ugly
Bowling
back in
shoe ugly.
WCW. Who did she go with?
Woman went with Benoit.
Yeah.
Woman, oh woman, won't
Yeah.
you marry me now?
Was she married to Sullivan?
Married
Kevin
to
married.
Sullivan, yes.
And they had a kid.
Wasn't
That-
that one of
but-
the reasons that
but
Benoit
that was-
ended up leaving?
That was Kevin Sullivan's fault, though. He told his wife, listen, we're doing this angle where you guys are together. You guys go to the bars together, check in the hotels together, go for dinner together. Well, what's going to happen after a while?
Benoit got his giggity on.
Obviously something happened there.
Well,
But
we
the
could
reason,
go into a whole
but
thing that
the
a lot
reason
of things
Benoit
happened.
left WCW, well, that's when
Sullivan was booking.
Vince Russo was
Yeah.
coming out of. They're taking him out and putting Kevin Sullivan back
Right.
in his book,
Benoit was the champion for the night. He actually won
He
the
beat
belt that
Sid.
night. Yeah.
and then gave the belt back and left.
Yep. Gave the belt back. Malenko, Saturn, and Guerrero also left. Shane Douglas was supposed to go with them. Stayed behind.
So these controversies are not uncommon in professional
DDP
wrestling.
Buff Bagwell?
However, even those ones we've talked about just in the last few moments, I don't think that they come anywhere close to being in comparison to the top level situation we have now.
It's the boss and the top star in the company.
But then again, think about it this way. It could have been like when, even though it was a angle, Elizabeth went with Hogan for a minute.
Nah.
Do you
In
think
Macho's mind, it was real.
If this is true, if this is indeed true, can they, should they, will they make it into an actual angle? There was some, again, the whole Kurt Angle, Jeff Jarrett thing from last year, Bound for Glory, there was some truth in that. Remember, Kurt Angle overstepped quite a few times talking about Jeff's deceased wife.
Mm-hmm.
And there was some natural heat as it pertains to that and as a result of that. But should they, can they, will they make this into an angle meeting? If it is true.
They would have to leak more to make it into an angle.
You've leaked enough. They're sleeping together. They're living in the same house together.
You have to leak
Their
more.
kids moved in together.
You have to leak more
Such
for people
as?
to buy into it. Pictures of her in the house.
Ooh, like Ric Flair, pictures of Elizabeth at WrestleMania 8
Mm-hmm.
that he
I
never
don't-
showed.
I don't think that they would let it get that personal.
Hmm.
I think enough has been leaked. I hope they don't make it into an angle because nothing good will come out of that. Because here's why: there's kids involved.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But there's always been a victim. Matt Hardy was the victim because remember, he got fired
Yes, he did.
over that situation. Chris Benoit was a bit of a victim because he ended up leaving the company. There has to be a victim in this scenario.
I keep joking about DDP and Buff. That was fake.
You never know.
Mm.
We'll have to call Dallas.
The victim can't be Jarrett. It can't be Angle.
No.
You think
No.
it'd be Jarrett over Angle?
Well, no,
The victim are the kids.
No, I'm talking about as far
Angle
as
can't be a victim because he divorced her.
yeah.
So I mean,
Who's going to pay for it if it is true?
But
is
again,
what I'm
you
asking.
could play it to where Angle divorced her because of what Jeff did.
There's such a thing as too much realism. No, you'd have to pull all the scissors out of the locker room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Sid doesn't work there.
no. Well, Sid had the wedgie, the window cleaner wedgie.
Yeah.
A little too close for comfort, and again, we are simply reporting on it because it is so rampant out there on the internet. A lot of you have asked about it, specifically an email that we got from, let me find it here because there it is, John Bush, who says, and I quote, "It is being reported that Jeff Jarrett has been removed from television due to the Kurt Karen Jarrett drama. Also, I don't know if this was true or not. A guy said a guy said that Kurt was overheard that he wants the job as booker and Jarrett to have no power or he won't re-sign his contract." It's an email from John Bush. So the buzz is out there. A lot of people are talking about it. Maybe this isn't so bad for TNA. Maybe it's
But again,
maybe
remember,
it's
it's
a
just
catch.
it's just the internet community.
If it wasn't bad for TNA, Jeff Jarrett wouldn't be sent home right now.
Yeah.
You sent the owner of the company sent home the minority owner of the company for a couple weeks. That's bad. The head booker sent him home.
Let's go down to the PWR news desk. First news item is Mick Foley is going to be doing stand-up comedy at the famous Improv in Los Angeles, California. The date will be August 22nd, and yes, that is SummerSlam weekend in Los Angeles. Roddy Piper is going to be facing criminal charges for his DUI arrest. It happened a couple of weeks ago. He faces up to 6 months in jail if he is convicted of driving under the influence. This week's ratings, saw Raw get a 3.5. ZZ Top apparently not bringing them in like people thought they might. SmackDown with a 1.8 last Friday night. TNA last week with a 1.1. ECW this past Tuesday with a 1.2, and Superstars from last week with a 0.9 rating. Stone Cold Steve Austin may be having tax troubles. Apparently some confusion from some property sales in California has the tax man after him. This is said to be tied up in some accounting problems and whatnot. However, this could be a big problem for Steve Austin if he indeed does have some more liens levied against his properties. And with those news items out of the way, it's time now for Interactive. And we've got your emails right here in this stack of paper. You can send them to us at pwrshow.com. Go ahead and click on the comments link to send us your comments and questions via email. Also, we bring comments from our YouTube channel, our Twitter account, all the forms
What's
of
a
interactive
Twitter?
media. It's some type of online texting thing. All type of interactive media that you can be a part of. Still to come in this show, we're going to talk about TNA Victory Road, the pay-per-view from this past Sunday, where I was lucky enough to be there live, and also a preview of WWE Night of Champions. You see that sign of true professionalism, how I just kept going and kept driving the
Damien doesn't listen to me.
I've admitted that. First one is from Liam in Ireland. He says, I was just thinking now that we are on the road to glory since Slammiversary is over. I was just wondering what the main at Bound for Glory event could be. I came to the conclusion that the rubber match between Jeff Jarrett and Kurt Angle for the TNA title would be it. Since Bound for Glory takes place in October and their last match was at Genesis in January, I think that this match would not be as stale as Orton versus Triple H because the period between the two matches would be 10 months. Also, their first match was Bound for Glory 2008, so they could build the match as a year in the making.
Well, Kurt Angle's contract would be up shortly after that.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's how they want to send him out. I don't know. I mean, would the fans would you the fans want to buy another Jeff Jarrett Kurt Angle match?
Well, they're already buying Triple H Orton matches.
It's a completely different company.
Sheep, you know.
Bah, bah, bah.
Dustin sends in the following. Hey guys, just wanted to say that I'm glad I finally found you.
I'm glad I found you too.
I was a big fan of the pro wrestling and PWR about 5 years ago in Milwaukee, and then after joining the Marine Corps, moving to North Kakalaki,
It's North Carolina.
and doing a tour in Iraq,
It's Iraq.
watching wrestling, and your show became very difficult. I'm glad I'm back in the loop, and here's my question and comment for the week. Firstly, thank you, Dustin, for following us all through those times. The tag division in WWE at the moment is horrible. All caps,
Terrible.
exclamation point. Not only are there no viable teams within the ranks, but the unified straps are a complete joke. What kind of action do you think WWE needs to take to rectify this problem, and do you ever think that they care enough to do so?
They got a long way to go in that tag division.
Because anytime they put a tag team together,
Well, let's name the
they
tag
break them up
teams. There's Crime Time, there's Hart Dynasty,
Right.
there's, I guess you can call Rhodes and DiBiase a tag team.
Legacy.
Why couldn't you call them a team? Of course they're a tag team.
Yeah. You know what it is? It's back when.
Are there really no more tag teams?
No, that's it.
There's gotta be
there-
one more.
There's Jericho and somebody.
Jericho and Chris Masters.
Jericho and somebody.
You know, I mean,
They really have 4 tag teams. The Colognes are broken up.
Yeah, the Colons exploded.
Miz and Morrison are gone.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Jesse and Festus are gone.
Yo, it's your boy.
That really is it, huh?
Yeah.
On that whole company, they have 3 tag teams.
And you know, if you think about it, back when, wrestling was real hot in the 80s, main events were the British Bulldogs versus the Dream Team.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
And those would sell out buildings.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, there's no tag teams that I would pay to see.
I would have paid to see Jericho Edge.
How many
That might
tag
have
teams
been fun.
TNA got? They got the Motor City Machine Guns, Lethal Consequences, Beer Money, Team 3D,
British Invasion.
I guess Steiner and Booker T are a tag team now. They've got double.
Yeah.
Without going over all of them, because...
And they've only got one show. WWE has 3.
Wow. Well, Daniel, thank you very much for that email and providing us with the unfortunate insight that WWE's tag team division completely
Think
sucks.
about it. These are the Bulldogs, Dream Team, Killer Bees, Heart Foundation, Sheik and
Conquistadors,
Volkov.
Demolition.
Yeah. Amazing.
Graham Williams.
Lords of Pain. I always like those guys.
Powers of Pain.
I like the Lords of Pain.
Strike
It was a
Graham Williams says, Hi, Damien. I just want to quickly say how much I enjoy the shows and reading about the latest TNA rumors and news on your website. You're all very entertaining, but also informative, and most importantly, talk sensibly and honestly.
Has he been watching this show? Hey now, long distance.
My question. My ideal main event for Bound for Glory would be a double main event between Sting and Kurt Angle for the title, but the second main event could be a match between Joe and AJ, ideally a match that would go 45 plus minutes. I think that a match between two TNA originals that truly showcases an ROH-style technical high-octane battle would really impress those in attendance and make the casual observers take notice. If you had to book a match for the showcase, if you had to book a main event for the Showcase TNA pay-per-view, what match would you choose and why?
Definitely wouldn't be Sting Kurt Angle. We've seen that already.
Bobby Lashley and Kurt Angle.
Yep.
That's your money match. MMA fighter, Bobby Lashley, U.S. gold medalist, Kurt Angle.
And part-time MMA, he did train.
Yeah, but he's never done it.
No.
That
Remember when they had the gimmick with Joe where they were doing some shoot fighting?
Yeah, that would be the main event for Bound for Glory. If I was the guy writing it.
Booker Man.
Booker Man.
Brett Jackson says, will we see an official Iron Man match in WWE or TNA this year? Also, if there was an official Iron Man match, who would be in the match?
What makes it official?
We haven't seen an Iron Man match since
Cena,
a Raw
HBK.
gone by a while back. I've never really been a fan of the Iron Man matches.
Short attention span.
Yeah, I mean, who to put in them? Only certain people can do them, I think, and do them effectively.
I think AJ and Joe could do a good one.
Absolutely.
But outside of that,
What about Orton Triple H?
Oh, please.
Cena?
No.
that would be like The
Cena
Rock
Orton?
and Triple H. Remember that one? That Iron Man?
That was awful.
That was brutal.
Was that the 5-minute Iron Man?
I can see Bobby Lashley, Kurt Angle. There's a theme there. Bobby Lashley is the next big star in TNA.
If he wants to be.
Oh, he wants
Well,
to.
he wants. Believe me, he's
I
been
understand
paid
that.
enough to be the next big star.
I understand that, but
That's why
Bobby has to
Sting-
have Bobby has to have enough drive to do that.
That's why Sting is going to be off TV for a while. Let them build somebody else up.
Mhm.
You can't have Sting and Lashley together.
Sting did participate in the taping, so he will be at least on one of the impacts between now and Hard Justice. Brandon, who's also using the screen name Tired on the forum at pwrshow.com, says, "Hi. I was wondering what you thought of TNA currently. I personally don't watch it because I dislike it so much. For example, Samoa Joe was a leader of the Young Guys, then fought the Main Event Mafia. That fought the Main Event Mafia. Samoa Joe did not like Kurt Angle, then did not like Kevin Nash, then got a tattoo and became the Nation of Violence. Then let Kurt Angle become champion and is now with the Main Event Mafia. P.S. Still can't get past the commentary. Maybe it's just me, though."
Yeah, what happened to the front line?
They quietly stepped away from that.
Why?
Because they weren't winning. They're not marketable. There wasn't a frontline T-shirt that was out there.
Yes, there was.
Well, they sold it for a minute.
About a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there certainly was much more.
But there has to be a push behind.
There was much more long-term benefit in the Main Event Mafia than there was the front line.
But who does the main event mafia go against? You can't
Everybody
have just
else.
The Main Event Mafia is like the NWO. They're the cool bad guys. You know what? As much as the fans don't say they don't like Kevin Nash and they don't like Scott Steiner, they still cheer him.
Scott
Can I tell
Steiner
you
on
the
a
best
pogo stick.
Kevin Nash moment? It was actually during this week's TNA Impact, which I don't know if you'll be able to see as well on TV as I was able to see live. He had Tracy Brooks. He was holding her up. And, they were right here. And literally, he is mesmerized. He's buried himself in her chest. It was just classic. And then he did the whole wake-up spot or whatever. It was very funny. I don't think the front line going away was a bad thing at all in TNA. But I think the Samoa Joe thing, I think that actually was well done. They tricked you, obviously, so...
But it doesn't
Guess
make
it works.
sense now that you bring in Taz. It just doesn't make sense.
Chuck Dankert sent an email saying, "When is TNA coming to Milwaukee, Wisconsin?"
They're coming to La Crosse October 9th.
They are coming to La Crosse, Wisconsin, where many WWE Superstars was taped. I did ask TNA if they were going to be coming to Milwaukee on that tour, and unfortunately, that's not the case.
Milwaukee
makes-
has heat with TNA.
Hey, Milwaukee, if you're hot, just say you're hot.
On our YouTube channel, SanMarie39 says, I love Bobby Lashley, and I don't care what you have to say. He wants to wrestle, then let him do that. He has more skills than Brock Lesnar. I'm one of his fans that miss him in the wrestling ring. He's a freak of nature.
But Bobby shouldn't talk on the microphone.
Bobby's never been a good talker.
No. He
Who's the
stares
mouthpiece?
good. He's a good starer.
Donald Weiner says, reference this past Monday night's Raw, maybe I'm just being super picky and critical. And I didn't have any hopes for last night's Raw to be good, but good Lord, in the name of all things righteous and holy, that was the worst Raw I've ever seen. Can this be the shining example of why to scrap the whole guest host thing?
I gotta
One
tell you,
can hope.
they're not going to. I feel it's gonna become a Saturday Night Live thing, and they may just run with it. And
That was the
continually
worst
run with
guest host ever.
it. The show was so painful to watch.
It was disconnected.
Yeah, because they went into a sound corner. I mean, they put up the sound wall, and then Santino wearing a fake beard, and they weren't playing the instruments. It was just
It was
terrible.
brutal. Yeah, I didn't like
Now,
that at
Shaq, get him out in the ring. Let him
all.
interact
Shaq
with
will
some
be
of the
wrestling.
guys. Yeah,
You watch, he will be wrestling on Monday Night Raw.
that's not how it works. Shaq Daddy, Shaq Diesel, gonna whoop it.
Thank you for those emails and comments. Again, you can send those to comments at pwrshow.com, and we will go ahead and read most, if not all of them, right here on this very program. Now let's talk about TNA's pay-per-view offering from this past weekend. It was TNA Victory Road going into it. It didn't look as bad as it did coming out of it.
It's like
Here's
that really
the-
tasty food that you'd pass.
Here's the stain on the white shirt.
Why is your shirt so long?
Jenna versus Charmel.
And this was something Damian Nelson was excited to see because he loves Charmel Sullivan.
Who doesn't love Charmel? She's a
Charmel's
sweetheart.
fine. I got you, but that was an abortion of a match.
It's terrible.
And
That was
Jenna,
one of the worst things I've ever
I
seen.
loved the dance you did over her face. I'm not sure Charmel liked it.
I thought she was going to sit somewhere else.
She started to and then sat on her chest.
It was at that moment, actually, in the pay-per-view. Things were okay up until that point. At that moment where I'm sitting there and I'm like,
That
They
took
got
the
a
crowd
long
out
way
of
to
the
go.
entire show.
yeah, I got a long way to go to get back from this. And we saw, obviously, the main event Mafia Domination, where they took every title they had the chance to take that night. And we saw the debut of Taz, which was extremely anticlimactic on that pay-per-view Victory Road this past Sunday. Again, I wonder, and I want to know, why is he there? Now, here's the point that needs to be made. Impact, this week, certainly explained a lot. Certainly will explain a lot. Taz speaks. He gives some very interesting points as to why he is in TNA and why he aligned himself with Samoa Joe. But they didn't do it at the pay-per-view. Now, there's two reasons for that, potentially. Firstly, they knew nobody was watching the pay-per-view and could get much more bang for their buck out of Impact. Well, relatively. I mean, you're talking a couple dozen thousand people, and you're talking 2 million that are going to watch on Impact for free.
That's just a sad state of affairs for the company, if you ask me.
Well, same thing WWE. You got 5 million viewers for Raw, 200,000 people ordering the pay-per-view.
Mhm.
I mean, they've done the same thing when they've had debuts on pay-per-views. They speak on Monday night. You get that curiosity factor or whatever. But this just didn't come off right for me with all the hype and all the build. And I'm not sure. Maybe they shouldn't have spoiled it last week on Impact. I don't know. But this was a bit of a dud.
A bit?
A bit. I mean, he should have came out in his with a towel over his head, the black sweatsuit.
He should have tried to work
He came
out.
out in the SmackDown suit.
He should have tried to work out.
No, that's not going to happen. He's not going to wrestle anymore.
He's injured. He talks about those injuries on Impact this week.
I got you, and I understand that, but what happened? I mean, from when you were watching the pay-per-view, Taz walked out, and before he walked out, Sting had him in the Scorpion.
Oh, you knew that was the moment, though.
Well, yeah, the referee's
Well, I
back,
understand
Sting's
that.
back as to the entranceway.
But when you go back to the ring, the two of them are just standing there.
Yeah, I haven't seen the television version yet. but
Terrible! Oh, that's terrible. Oh, that's terrible.
Vince Russo loves the old ECW, and that's what he's bringing in. That's why he brought back Raven. That's why he's got
Dr.
Stevie
Stevie
Richards.
is actually entertaining. I enjoy watching Stevie
But-
on TV.
Who is going to buy a ticket for Dr. Stevie?
If he's got Daphne with him, I might.
Bobby Lashley, well, wasn't there.
On TV.
They had Taz.
Yeah, but I mean, when you announce somebody signed with the company and you announce that they're going to be at the pay-per-view, don't you expect more than canned footage?
They probably forgot. They probably forgot he was backstage. You know.
No, they had it written in, and then after the
think about it.
Charmel.
Well, what would he
Jenna
have done?
match-
And you'll see again. You will see what he does at Impact this week. It all makes sense. And I was having conversations with people down at the Impact Zone with the company saying, you know what, pay-per-view, it was lacking at times. And some of that could have been because all the heels went over, whatever. But the
The company wasn't
explanations,
there.
the explanations on Monday certainly gave some reason. Sometimes, WWE has done this before too. Sometimes you do throw away a show. Sometimes that show is a pay-per-view, and I'm not saying that's what they did, but this certainly going forward makes a lot
It
more sense
doesn't
than it
make
did on
sense to
Sunday.
throw away a show. Why would you intentionally be
Especially
bad?
when you're paying $30 for it.
Yeah. Why would you intentionally be bad? It's like sandbagging.
To the casual fan, though, we're somewhat of analysts, experts here, whatever. To the casual fan, was that show that bad?
To the casual fan, wouldn't have bought that pay-per-view
If
to
I'm a
start with.
casual fan that bought it, I'm not buying another one.
Absolutely. I don't
Was
care
the
if it's-
wrestling bad?
I don't care if it's Bound for
Wrestling
Glory or
was
any
bad.
of it. Yeah.
Nothing meshed. Nothing made sense.
Why did they have
Made
a
sense
women's
for
title?
storyline
Okay,
continuum,
Here you
or
go. Here's an example. Casual wrestling fan, the dad, the two kids, and maybe the mom, they're sitting there watching it. The knockouts come in with those entrances. That mom's going to either turn the TV off or she's going to leave the room upset and tell her husband, we're not getting this again.
Mm-hmm.
I got some pictures for you, by the way.
Giggity.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
If TNA is supposed to be family friendly,
they're wearing more clothes than the Divas.
right, but their entrances are a little bit different than the Divas.
Their entrances are
Expanded.
a lot
I've
different.
never seen any one of the Divas do the.
Grind on the rope.
No, well, besides that, what's this girl from Survivor's name? Jenna.
Jenna.
She was skanky. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. She
Yeah,
was
never
skanky
ever.
McSkankster.
She basically ran her
Her gimmick.
gimmick over Charmel's face and left it on her chest for all the world to see and smell. And
I don't know if it was that bad for the kid. I haven't seen the broadcast version yet. I was there live.
the casual fan would have said, "What the hell is that?"
See, you were in La La Land in your front
Yeah.
row seat.
Yeah, going. I can't wait to get out of here. OBT, baby, OBT.
Mm-hmm.
As I told the both of you, I didn't think the show was that good. And I'm supposed to be the TNA mark, remember?
Yeah, you're a mark for everything.
I've been to several of their pay-per-view shows, and that one, first off, the fans weren't into it, and I think it's because they were diehard TNA fans for the pay-per-view on Sunday. The taping on Monday, completely different story. The fans were 50 times better, because I think it was mostly the theme park fans who were just enjoying seeing the names they recognized and seeing some pretty good wrestling action, some pretty
What
good
names did they
storylines.
recognize?
Mick Foley, Kurt Angle, Kevin Nash, Scott Steiner, Booker T,
So,
Taz.
the main people on the roster. You didn't
Correct.
mention AJ Styles. You didn't mention Samoa
Let me
Joe.
tell you this about AJ Styles.
I like AJ. Don't get me wrong. I like AJ Styles. But like you
AJ
said, I didn't
Styles-
recognize him.
As I said on this past Sunday night's edition of the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN, AJ is the next big thing. That's a bit cliched or whatnot, but they have figured it out. His entrance, his music, his presentation, his performance in the ring obviously has always been there. Dixie Carter said in a recent interview, AJ has to realize how big a star he is and can be, and once that happens, he can be one of the next big names in TNA. Now, AJ's been around since 2002. He's been doing this for 7 years with the company, but there is something distinctly different about his presentation now. And we all can admit, that's where WWE has TNA trumped, the presentation. Everybody's entrance is a unique experience, whether it be the lighting, the pyro, the sound, their music, what have you. TNA hasn't quite mastered that yet. But with AJ Styles, they're certainly heading in the right direction.
Well, and Kevin Nash has said AJ Styles reminds him of Shawn Michaels.
Mhm.
What bigger compliment than you can get than that?
I think AJ can be champion for that company and be
Which
built
he has
as
already been.
champion, but be built as
Twice.
champion to carry the
NWA
company.
champion. Never
He was
TNA.
still champion for the company.
It's different. It's going in a different.
I
route now.
understand that. He was the NWA champion.
Raven was the champion.
While they
back
held the
then,
belt.
So
Abyss was the
Abyss,
champion.
Rhino.
Rhino.
I think, yeah, they all had a.
Where's he?
Who?
Rhino? He's
Right.
with some military guy right now, training him.
With a bad haircut.
That was TNA Victory Road. Your feedback was minimal on that show,
Because
actually.
nobody saw it.
We appreciate you, though, not giving feedback on something you didn't see and just making assumptions.
I still wonder, though, to the casual fan, and I appreciate your points, to the casual fan, would it have been that bad a show? And I don't
I
think it
think
would
so.
have been.
You know what? The casual fan might have liked it because they saw the guys that they recognized.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
All right.
move it on.
Speaking of recognize, you better recognize who the hell you are. Who the hell I am.
Below.
Beat the meat.
This week's Beat the Meat. It's a little intricate question. On the May 7th, 1986 episode of Tuesday Night Titans, otherwise known as TNT, Mr. Fuji and the magnificent Don Morocco premiered a new soap opera segment called what? Comments at PWRshow.com. Once again, comments at PWRshow.com. Mr. Fuji and the magnificent Don Morocco had a soap opera segment entitled what?
Well, Don the Rock Morocco, huh? The original Rock.
No. He
It was
was first the
magnificent.
magnificent Morocco.
Did you not hear anything I said?
I don't
And
listen.
then when he came back with the superstar Billy Graham and the tie-dye gimmick after he's had a few doses of protein power, then he was the Rock Don Morocco.
Did you buy the ring?
The ring.
Superstar Billy Graham's ring. His Hall of Fame ring. You know, he's selling it on eBay.
I heard about that. You know why he's selling it, don't you?
He's a little ticked off.
Yeah.
He's hot.
He wants to tell Vince, hey, you fired me, you let me go, here's what I think of your ring. I wouldn't be surprised if it shows up on TNA and gets dumped in a garbage can or something.
Nobody can do it as good as Alundra Blaze did.
Well, of course not. But yeah.
Wasn't there another belt incident on Nitro?
Mad USA. No, it was... Well, Scott Hall took the TV title and just dumped it in the garbage.
This Sunday night, it's WWE Night of Champions. We're going to be live on 540 ESPN immediately following that pay-per-view show, so be sure you tune in.
Immediately?
Yeah, something like that. Sunday night,
yeah.
10 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time, 11 Eastern. The matches are as follows that we know so far. Diva's title will be on the line as Maurice takes on Mickie James.
Roast beef in the house.
I'm going with Maurice.
The United States title will be on the line in a six-pack challenge match. Kofi Kingston defends against The Big Show. MVP, The Miz, Carlito, and Jack Swagger.
I like Jack Swagger.
Swagger?
Or The Miz.
I think
Miz
Kofi
wouldn't surprise
retains.
me there.
I think Kofi retains.
The Intercontinental Championship will be on the line as Rey Mysterio takes on Dolph Ziggler.
Man, that guy's got a lot. I mean, he's up and coming.
Dolph Ziggler. He's the guy that they replaced with Mr. Kennedy.
Yeah, Ziggler's in
They go
Kennedy's
from
spot.
Kennedy to Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah, Ziggler's in Kennedy's spot.
Well, then I
Right?
guess Dolph Ziggler's going to win.
The ECW Championship will be on the line as Christian tries to take the title off the waist of Tommy Dreamer.
Why? I mean, honestly, I have no interest in that match whatsoever.
Abraham Washington show last Tuesday.
Who's Abraham Washington?
Developed some.
Damien's cousin?
Why? Because he's
Wow.
African American? We're
No.
somehow or another gotta be related?
No, I'm more black than you are.
Racist bitch, get out. Courtesy of Lisa Lampanelli.
It doesn't matter to me
The
either.
uni-
I'll say Tommy Dreamer for the heck of it.
The Unified Tag Team Championships will be on the line as Chris Jericho and a partner to be named on Sunday defend against Ted DiBiase and Cody Rhodes.
You know, if they're going to do anything with DiBiase and Rhodes, they've got to win.
Enough
Otherwise,
is enough. It's time for a change.
absolutely. But, I don't know. I mean, I heard that Eugene got re-signed, so maybe he's Chris Jericho's, mystery partner.
World Heavyweight Championship, the world title on the line as CM Punk defends against Jeff Hardy in what might be Jeff Hardy's last match with the company.
You know what? I think CM Punk goes over, and then they have the big going-away match for Jeff Hardy at SummerSlam.
Have you seen Jeff Hardy's recent YouTube antics? You know, he was in a band called, I can't pronounce it,
Yeah.
for Oxygen or something like that.
Yeah.
He's been,
Out there?
yeah.
That's your guy.
It's your boy. Holla.
The WWE Championship will be on the line in a rematch from WrestleMania 24. Randy Orton versus Triple H versus John Cena. Orton could do it.
Orton again, just like at WrestleMania 24.
I think Orton goes over. Triple H and John Cena start another new feud.
Here's my question. How long has it been since Trips had the title? That's
A
been
year.
a while.
No, not
A
that
year.
long. No.
It's been
Feels
a
like
year.
it.
Tops. Year tops. He was the SmackDown
He was out for a
champion.
while.
He had it
'cause-
6 months ago.
Yeah, he was a champion in SmackDown before he got drafted.
Oh, yeah. he
Pay
was.
attention to the product.
I'm sorry, I forget.
If this is Night of Champions, there's a couple title matches missing, aren't there?
The women's championship is not listed on this particular card. We don't know what's happening on SmackDown. So we could see a match made, but I believe that's the only title missing. Less
And
than
the
$1 million
hardcore
belt.
title's not being defended?
It doesn't exist anymore.
That's right.
What about the European? Eurocontinental.
Thank you for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen, to this week's edition of the Pro Wrestling Report. Remember, we will be live right after WWE Night of Champions on 540 ESPN, streaming live at PWRshow.com.
Damien, one more thing too. I know I hate to cut you off, but it's just a sad state of affairs when the sheep, as you call them, otherwise known as our viewers, have voted your pay-per-view.
No. Republican man, let's back up just a little.
Have
I did not
voted
say
you-
all of our viewers.
Have voted
I
your
said
pay-per-view.
some of our viewers.
Have voted your pay-per-view worse than mine.
Or yours better than his.
Tomato, tomato. On the website right now is my pick, my free agent pick, and there is a shocking development. You will see it in my next pay-per-view I've taken. One from Damien's roster, one free agent pick. You need to step it up.
Oh, we're doing an alumni draft.
Junkyard Dog?
Oh, WWE's been doing this guest host thing, and they've got their alumni that they utilize, so we should be able
Whatever
to
you
utilize
need.
alumni as well.
Whatever you need.
Still got the better show. Thank you so much for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you Sunday night right after WWE Night of Champions on 540 ESPN.
PWRshow.com. Log on and win cash.